Hey, so guess what happened yesterday? A bunch of MAGA fucks stormed the US Capitol. You maybe saw my video about it. So, guess what? I'm not giving you a video about why universal suffrage sucks right now because that seems rather evident. You gave all those fucking idiots a vote. Who did you think they were gonna make the fucking president? Next was gonna be my video about how I define freedom. However, given that a bunch of MAGA fucks decided to storm the US Capitol, and that everybody else seems utterly confused as to where this strain of ideology comes from, I feel that it's a little more appropriate right now if I do a video about why the fuck do you think anything would have gotten better at any point? So, here's the thing. If you look at like average life expectancy over time, right now it's like somewhere around 80. It used to be around 35. All that means is that like 500 out of every 1,000 babies were fucking dying before they hit the age of 5. And a lot of dead babies means a low life expectancy, but old people are still 80 years old. That means that you shaking hands with a really old person who shook hands with a really old person when they were really young, you could make a 26 person handshake chain back to Jesus Christ of Nazareth. That's how long it's been. It's been 26 people since Jesus. That's not that very many fucking people. I've had more people than that in plenty of classes over time. Do you think maybe it's possible that 26 people managed to keep one ideology alive? Yeah, 26 people is not that long of a game of telephone. That shit just stayed intact. So, as long as the same people have always been in charge, there's no reason that the power dynamics would have gotten any fucking better, and it would have gone anything other than this way. So, we've never had a revolution in the West. French Revolution, lateral transfer of power to different aristocrats over time. English Revolution, direct lateral transfer of power to different aristocrats, who then crowned themselves and made themselves monarchs. Exact same power structure once again, but this time we have a constitution. Fancy that. So now, if you fast forward to 2020, a baby is at some point going to be vested with the unending power to nuke anybody, anywhere on the face of the earth. Because yeah, that made sense 1,000 years ago. Why the fuck would anything have gotten different if there was nothing but a lateral transfer of power the whole way down? The American Revolution, a bunch of slave-owning motherfuckers did not want to pay for a world war they started. So they decided to kill a bunch of their countrymen and kick out their king. That's what happened. That's all that fucking happened. It wasn't some battle for freedom. It was, holy shit, the bill is expensive when you start a world war. We do not want to pay the taxes to pay for that, and not wanting to pay for shit, and no change in power dynamics. That's just the story of America. So why would anything have gotten better at any point? You need a revolution to make things better. Those in charge are not going to voluntarily decide to no longer be in charge. Why the fuck would they? Who would do that? So, if the people weren't in charge, when do you think that the people in power, the people weren't in charge, when do you think that the people in power just decided that they were? They didn't. They've come up with ever more complex ways to convince you that you're in charge, while at the same time you know that it's only rich and powerful people who are actually fucking running this thing. You need a revolution, or things don't get better. And at the same time, you need to punish racists and murderers, or things don't get better on that front either. You didn't hang all the Confederate generals, the Confederacy didn't fucking die. You rescued all the Nazis from Stalin's wrath, Nazism never went away. You gave them fake IDs so that nobody could tell if it was a Nazi talking to them, and just expected them to be better people. Why would they? They suffered no consequences for their psychopathic behavior before. Why would the aristocracy have less power? they suffered no consequences. Let's take it a step back again. Let's take Jesus as if he was a historical figure. Let's just put that one there. Yeah, that's just a fucking socialist uprising that Bud's trying to do. And it gets stamped out. And what happens? Nobody gets in trouble for that shit. Okay, cool. And then the Roman Empire collapses. And the generals and the church, which was already a massively powerful organization in Rome at that point, just assume full control of their little fiefdoms. So, for collapsing the entirety of society, no one in power got in trouble. Then, for the next 1,000 years, no matter how psychopathic the leadership was, nobody ever got in trouble. Then there was a lateral transfer of authority that was celebrated to different aristocrats who were just as psychotic and doing the same things. Nothing changed. Then it got to America, where once again a lateral transfer of authority to people who owned people. One of the founding fathers raped his slave, fathered children, then denied the whole fucking thing and just let them be poor and enslaved and tortured forever. His own children. Because these are the people that took power simply to avoid the tax bill for a war. Nothing changed. Then those slave owners made the Confederacy, and no one got in trouble for it. So nothing changed. Then some Germans decided to model their government after the Confederate government, and nobody got in trouble for that either. So nothing fucking changed. And that's the whole course of Western history from year 0 to year 2020. At what point did you think things were just going to magically have fucking changed? Power dynamics are still the same. Of course things are still the same. Of course things are still bad. Of course you're still technically enslaved. Until you actually throw off the oppressive force, things aren't going to change. There is no salvaging this system. This system is just the latest permutation of the Roman Empire and the systems they had. That's all this is. Anyway, on that hopeful note, like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Have a nice night. Peace.